what up, good evening, and fuck off, Mike. How are you all doing tonight, guys? You might be worried that I've come in with a sort of aggressive energy, but no, I'm very chill. I'm very zen. It's been a little while since you've last seen this mug, and in fact, perhaps these mugs. I mean, I can't make assumptions. Maybe you live with any of these people. Maybe you see them recreationally. Maybe you have a printout picture of the Iskandar crew that you have by your bed and you say goodnight to us at night. Bit weird, but fundamentally, provided you don't tell us, we can't stop you. And I guess we couldn't stop you if you did tell us, but it would weird us out, so don't tell us. Hi everyone, welcome back. How have you been? Just chime off in the comments. How you all doing? Yeah, it's great old time. I think the last time that we streamed was for our big charity streamathon day of many moons ago, or did we have a finale after that?
We might have had the finale after that.
I cannot remember.
What is time?
For since that event, it might have just I have moved house, so my brain has been turned literally to pudding and drunk through a straw by angels, and then spat back into the waiting baby bird of time.
Wrap it up.
Oddly specific.
Yeah, but you know what? Anyone who's moved house with mental and physical illness will know exactly what I mean. But that being said, for that reason, I apologize if my internet is still a little bit shonky. I'm currently on Wi-Fi, which is not something I customarily stream from, and I am in the spare room of my new house. But that being said, welcome to this, a brand new adventure for the crew of the USS Iskandar. If this is your first time watching us, welcome. You are completely welcome to start watching us now. We will do our best to introduce things that are not sort of too aggressively new. And if you have questions, I'm sure the chat will be happy to answer them. But if this is your first time here, we are the crew of the USS Iskandar, the four of us playing the crew and alternating who is the GM or storyteller for the adventure, with occasional guests. But we pass the hot seat around, and this adventure's hot seat GM is our very own Emily. Yeah, that one right there. I said, looking at you, woo. Who is GMing today's story, The Lonely Sky and Sea. Is it? I'm just reading the title from. Is it The Lonely Sea and Sky?
Yeah.
Oh, ignore anything that's been written on the text overlays and information, because that would have been written by Mike Kilburn, who's
Christ,
certifiable idiot.
Hi, Carl.
Fucking lemons.
So here's the thing: is that when you work as part of a team, if one person drops the ball, then the next person doesn't have a ball to throw around. And so now I look like the idiot, whereas in fact I was just working with a faulty script. A poor workman blames his tools. But Mike's quite a tool. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
I'm so glad you're back. Wow.
Mm-hmm. I am. I'm back. I'm back with the big fucko energy. Roomba, are you running with helps and hinders today?
I am. So yes, last time I didn't run with helps and hinders, but that's because it was Gremlin's first GMing. But we're past that now.
No, it's Gremlin's second GMing.
The GMing has occurred since, but it's for Gremlin's second Iskandar GMing. So yes, helps, hinders, both are welcome. I'm not going to say both are encouraged, because that will encourage you, and then I'll just have too many to deal with, because I know what you lot are like.
A reminder for people that, particularly for minor helps and hinders, they are designed to respond to the action that is unfolding before you, and that GMs, broadly speaking, do not have any grand need to bank them up, because banking them up is just storytelling, and they can do that. If you wish to impact the plot long term, then I urge you to turn your attention to moderate and major helps and hinders. But all that is information that can be found in various boxes below us. And to be honest, I've rambled on quite long enough. And I think that it's probably a good idea for Roomba to ramble on for as long as she deems necessary. So, handing off to the GM for this week's adventure of Star Trek Iskandar. Take it away, Emily.
So, we begin with a lovely swooping shot of the exterior of the Iskandar as it is gliding through interstellar space. That makes it sound better than where it is because it's in the middle of absolute nothing. There is nothing really of interest here. The Iskandar has been sent on an extremely routine go and do some scanning of this area of space where people have kind of pre-checked that there shouldn't be anything here. It's dull and everyday. So, what are people doing on this lovely, boring morning as the camera sweeps past the exterior of the Iskandar and in?
Wow, the captain is sulking. Like Athan has been quite unpleasant to deal with for the last week, certainly by Athan's standards. She has been normally for something like this, like let's do some routine survey stuff, she would have seen it historically as an opportunity to give you like her department heads a long leash, let them get these things done in their own time, get a bit of practice setting their own goals, etc. As long as you get it done, it's fine. No, she's been a bit of a slave driver. There has been like rigorous setting out of expectations, project goals, deadlines, and all of that to hit every department. Obviously, science is getting it worst. She's not being unreasonable explicitly, but she is being considerably more regulated and strict about, you will do these things. Is it not going to take us too much time to get this job done on this bumfuck nowhere survey mission? I guess that means it's time to fit in some drills, etc. along the time. Sorry, science. Normally you'd have the free time to be able to think deep thoughts about your analysis. No, you do your analysis and then you go do some fucking drills.
Yes, pick on the boys.
Why am I being punished for what Strange did?
The entire ship is being punished for what Strange did.
This bumfuck nowhere job might be punishment for what Strange did, in fact. Who knows? Nobody's explicitly said.
Believes.
At least we can rest easy knowing nothing bad ever happens on a routine mission.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I appreciate that's not the exact scene, but that is.
No,
Anathard is not being at her most sociable. There was like the dinner shortly after Elrad's arrival with the senior staff.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, she's not held any more of the senior staff dinners.
I like to think that during that time, it's the double-edged sword of the fact that her first officer is a Vulcan, therefore is pathologically capable of being like, you feel like you've been in a right snit lately. Are you all right? Like, but also it means that there's been a bit of a buffer in just that her tone is always slightly managed by the fact that a lot of her instructions come through Talandra. But I like the idea that until told otherwise, Talandra has been sort of in slightly bustly Vulcan mode. So has occasionally stopped in to be like, to have tea, to have catch-ups, to have like, she's been scheduling regular catch-ups with Athan, with the captain about various things, sort of in order to like both stay aware of what the ship is doing, but also because she is concerned about Athan and knows that Athan is not a sharing sort of captain, and so it's just kind of making herself available at every eventuality in case she needs to vent or needs to express something or needs to ask something.
Yeah, I obviously Athan ain't fucking talking about it and is doing a fairly efficient job of obfuscating her behavior behind like regulations and standards. So it would be difficult, especially for Talandra, to call her on her behavior. Not that Talandra's particularly in the habit of doing it, but yes.
Fundamentally, Captain's allowed to be in a snit if she wants to be. Like, it's not like
My command
Privileges
prerogative.
of rank.
she's more Talandra is more concerned about the captain's well-being than that some officers going to have their feelings hurt because Athan is brusque with them. Like, they have a politician captain and a Vulcan first officer. If they wanted touchy-feely, they could have gone anywhere else.
Yeah, that's what you're getting from the top down, people.
I think to kind of gel with that vibe, maybe a scene, or like if it's just like a quick montage through the ship to kind of show what people are up to, because we don't have any science NPCs other than medical named, other than Casey himself.
Make one.
No.
Yeah, give me a name if you want some science NPCs.
I will generate them in my own time. But more importantly,
no.
I refuse. It will just be me going to a name generator, and we can all do that in our own time. I think as department head, we've got Casey. He's grabbing pads from some ensigns, handing them off to others. It's very much a case of people are asking him questions like, I need more time to finish off this type of scan or this report, and he's having to push back actively and constantly in a no, we're beginning this drill in 20 minutes, we need it done by then. And so it's just it's almost like to kind of get the chaos of the scene, that it's a complete camera pan around Casey. He's taking a pad, he's giving an order, he's passing the pad on. He looks completely haggard in the center of science. And it's just clear to the audience that and specifically I imagine some of the dialogue will be captain's orders, just to underpin that, this is weight that's coming from the top, and he just looks flustered and a little out of his depth.
Oh no, poor boy.
I think the flip side of that is that engineering is probably relatively chill still, because whilst it's tighten things up, etc., Reyes already came in with implementation of a few changes to things. Athan fundamentally doesn't have strong opinions about how an engine room should be run. And there's always, and so we're going, well, are you using this free time to be able to, enhance the performance of the ship? Reyes will be able to give responses which are either yes or this is what I'm doing with my time. And Reyes is not flustered by Athan because, well, Reyes doesn't know Athan, and Reyes doesn't really do flustered particularly well. And also, what are we doing? Well, we're gliding through bumfuck nowhere. Are we even going to go into any stellar phenomena? No. All right, then. Well, I guess it's time for us to make sure that we can replace whatever bits of the electroplasma distribution network need replacing, or fine-tune all of that while we're drifting, doing absolutely fucking nothing. So, yeah. Reyes runs a kind of controlled chaos sort of thing. Things change fast. And she clearly has a very strong vision of how things are. And it isn't that she's bad at communicating it, but she is very flexible, which about how she runs things. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what the tone in terms of engineering was under Strange for contrast.
How Strange ran engineering is probably a lot, I want to say cleaner than that, but not as a to do down on Reyes. It probably was quieter than that, and less of that kind of controlled chaos sort of thing. Not that like more or less is being done. It's just a very that's the style of management that he probably went
Mhm.
with.
Reyes is also taking a bit of an opportunity for her to clearly get the number of each of her engineers, in that they are given jobs, they are rotated around on jobs, no one is allowed to get comfy. There is clear modulation on her part of long leash, short leash, what happens. So that is one of the main reasons why it probably feels a little chaotic to pretty much, I suppose, everyone but Reyes. But nothing is going wrong
Yeah,
yet,
exactly.
until the GM says so.
Couldn't possibly comment.
Mhm. I can't imagine that medicine's having a difficult time with that.
I mean,
Oh.
I think medicine should go last on the roster, because I have a scene in mind. I think since we're doing like the montage, that's my thinking. So what is Zal
what's
and
Zal up to with this is Zal's still relatively new to the role of chief of security, and with this kind of mood on the Iskandar of captain's in a mood.
How
So
much pressure is coming security's way is a big question.
It's a good opportunity for drills and practice.
The thing is, like, I don't think Casey thrives in drills because his mind is not geared to a hypothetical. His mind is geared to the actual. Whereas Dral, it's Zal's evil cousin, Dral. Zal
with the goatee.
Zal probably thrives in this kind of level of practice, particularly because for one, as a new security chief, he would like to get a better idea and understanding of people's capabilities and skill sets, but equally, this gives him an opportunity in peacetime. There's nothing exploding. We're not on a hypersensitive mission. No one's gone through a wormhole, or we're being lambasted by Q. We're just as we are on the ship. And so I think Zal's actually quite flourishing in this. And in the contrast to the Casey scene, while he is working the security team hard, it's slightly more, I don't want to say militant, but that kind of professional security organized, of the drills are up to and including, let's practice locking down section of the ship in case of boarding via transporter. Let's practice evacuation out of these decks, and all very regimentally, like, conducted, logged, and passed on to the captain.
I don't know how Athan is going to express this, but there's also a definite shifting up. This will probably affect all department heads rather than just security. There is a very, very transparently motivated urge for oversight and communication when it comes to, like, individual officers. Like, make sure everyone is following protocol. That kind of shit, which, insofar as I'm not, like, considering that the way Starfleet works, I don't think that would explicitly be a security responsibility. In fact, I think that's probably more likely to be a Talandra point taking rather than a Zal point taking.
It probably means that as part of the montage of the early session, there's a lot of, like, people passing through Talandra's office, or like officers being given a thing, being like, you need to mark down this person, you need to mark down that person, people being given extra overtimes and stuff like that, because like things that were relatively minor are now being, like, really,
especially things like chain of custody on information and assets and stuff, that kind of stuff. Not that, like, it was lax before, but it is absolutely now something that needs to now be maintained.
Yeah, so kind of that really tightening up on make sure all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and all the paperwork is filled out properly. Not that it wasn't before, but really.
Yes, actually, well, it was previously actually filled out properly. Now it's definitely filled out properly.
Yeah.
it means that rather than, like, calling someone into an office for a conversation and like this has been a thing, you need to do this and this and this. Talandra's like, the book says I have to do this, which means
Yep. Unless anybody else wants to jump into the montage here, we'll sweep from.
I know you're GMing, but like, what's Cantos up to?
Oh yeah, well, we'll cover Strange first because he's the easy one to do. Because I'm guessing that Rhodes is keeping him on a shorter leash than the others and not really giving him much of a long one and just giving him like.
Yes. So yes. It should probably be seen more as supervisory rather than explicitly punitive.
Oh yeah,
but sure. yeah, he is being kept on a shorter leash.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we'll probably have a couple of shots of. So say if we're sorting out the electroplasma conduits, some shots of Strange, up to his elbows in some of them, checking them and being given a dull, repetitive task of, no, you check all of them, every single one, even the ones that we know are good. The last check was however many weeks ago. Cantos, when they're on the bridge, it is clear that they are bored. Like, this is, in terms of like the flight path for this is basically just point ship in straight line and go. And not even go very fast. So there's not even that thrill. So, yeah. They are probably being a little bit more irritating, to be honest, as their boredom manifests. Not whilst they're on the bridge, but like outside. As soon as they're off duty, they are looking for distractions, something to keep them entertained. Probably like trying to see if anybody wants to go for like a night of poker or something, and not really getting anywhere because everybody's busy. Because everything else is happening except Helm.
I think Cantos is probably going to end up, like, after a few days of this, Cantos is going to get fucking given homework.
Yeah, I was about to say, look, I know exactly what happens with Cantos. So after the, attempting to procrastinate and attempting to, like, find fun things to do. So you probably have, that earlier on in the montage. And later in the montage, they've given up. They're actually doing some of the paperwork that they've been meaning to do for a while that they don't do because they hate paperwork. But if they want to do, more responsible things in Starfleet and progress with their career,
it's time for some of the advanced bridge officer module training, or at least the studying phase for it.
Yeah.
Or
it is.
again modified in that way that Cantos is like trying to do something and is like trying to have a bit of fun with it, and Talandra's just sat there like, again, Lieutenant. Just like,
okay, fine. Yes, Commander.
That's all from me.
So what about medical? We haven't heard from Dr. Arkady Burov, nor have we heard from the Iskandar's latest crew member. Well, does he count as a crew member?
He does.
Yeah, I think he does.
His, as a setup,
I was undecided between saying latest crew member or newest guest.
It's more like a temporary assignment. He is under the same sorts of treaties and rules as if he were an exchange officer, which has historically been a fairly integrative process.
Yeah.
Even if he is a mission advisor and a civilian. I don't know why I did that with civilian, because he is a civilian.
Civilian.
Yeah.
I'd still
um,
put the quotes there.
he's a government official, really, is I suppose the distinction. But so yeah, he is crew, just a mission advisor.
Yeah.
I like to think that the way that everything's been shot has been, done very well. It's got sort of a sort of moody tone. It's got sort of a, the music is not like it's ominous, but it's got that kind of flatter, element to it. But moving
Yeah,
into
like it's tense, but it's not like danger music. We're not
Yeah.
we're not cracking out the full brass section here.
but moving into sick bay, it's that same, it's bright, it's it's white, it's got the good lights, it's got the pleasant ambiance, and I don't know, whatever Burov's theme is, which is almost certainly a slightly more pleasant, upbeat
And chirpy
piece
with
of-
flutes.
piece of music, just
Yeah,
arrives, and it's like sick bay has been untouched by this mood of the captains and of the whole ship, and Arcady is, I think, scanning the familiar form of the Calavelrad, and they will very sex positionally, be doing some I don't know, eye scan something, then just goes, so it's been a few weeks since your last medical when you arrived. How have you been settling in?
Jesus, I just need to recover from the use of the word sex positionally.
It's exposition, but they're very sexy.
Okay.
I was wondering where this was going and thinking, okay, camera moves on.
Right. I suppose what really counts as settling, Doctor.
Oh, you seem to have finally gotten the climate control on your quarters to work out.
Yes, that's taken a certain amount of modulation. Although, frankly, I imagine I would feel it more after several weeks, but it's not as if it's particularly unpleasant aboard.
Oh,
Even if it's a little dry.
I found a lot of people have had similar problems with their own quarters, so I can only imagine what it's like for you. But you're you don't seem to be overly dehydrated, which is good.
Yes, dehydration would be normally the least of my concerns.
I can imagine. And I know that you're new to the ship, so you don't know that everything's been a little tense lately.
Certainly, I'm not accustomed to the normal atmosphere on board a Starfleet ship. It has seemed fairly. It seems as if everything is operating quite efficiently.
Efficient, yes. But sometimes when things are very efficient, then people get smushed into the little gaps.
So is some of that smushing going on right now, Doctor?
You're already in for the ship's gossip, I see. No, I'm joking. Never mind. A little. I think people are chafing somewhat under the captain's rigidity of the rules. I've seen a lot more people who are in for, being a bit overstressed, overworked. Not to a degree that I feel I need to bring the captain in on it. Just a normal amount. But it's understandable given that the ship has been. We're not really that popular at the moment with high command, so everything's just sort of up in the air at the moment.
That seems to be a turnabout of fortune, from what I recall.
Ah, well, you know a lot about turnabouts of fortune, Mr. Elred.
Yes, although did. So whose fault is it?
I'm not going to throw any particular members of the crew under the bus, but needless to say that somebody on the ship did something very reckless and dangerous and potentially illegal, I think. Definitely illegal. I'm still cross with them and I don't want to talk to them about what they did, but I'm not going to tell you who they are in case it colors your opinion of the thing they did that was very stupid. But because of that, the captain was dragged over the hot coals, and here we are.
Then I will, if you wish to be judicious, Doctor, I will not press you on the matter. How have you been since the Wayfarer facility?
You know what? It's been since Wayfarer. Oh, that's a long time.
That was unfortunately the last time we met.
Yeah. Uh, good, good. Um, it turns out, I guess big my big news is my big brother might have committed a terrible murder.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was disappointing to learn. Um, I'm pretty fond of my brother, and fundamentally, he has chosen a disappointing uh, life goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened. It happened in Cardassian space, so there's this whole judicial thing, and it's so.
Where is he now?
Oh, can't say.
On the run.
Yes. Um, Look, we both know that if he is caught, then the best place for him is
A Federation prison.
but he.
Well,
I think his vote at the moment is no prison.
That is, I can sympathize with such a stance. I'm sorry that must be a burden upon you and your loyalties, Doctor.
Thank you. It really is. And like, I don't know how to talk to any of the others about it because, I'm not from I'm not from Federation originally, so there's this whole baggage that comes along with not being born a Federation citizen, and like, I don't want to feel like I'm a traitor. Because I already am because I joined Starfleet, and my family weren't happy about that. I'm just heaping a lot of personal stuff on you. I don't know why I find you so easy to talk to.
Well, Doctor, I think it's most important in times like this to make sure that you have your people, not necessarily the ones to talk to, but those with whom you share principles and who can help keep you grounded and help keep you with perspective.
Hmm.
You are here for a reason. You've chosen this path.
Well, I hope I'm a very good doctor.
That you are certainly a very good doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Elrod.
And how's Lieutenant Strange?
Oh, not good. Ensign Strange is uh, 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 demoted in engineering. Still in engineering, but not a lieutenant, just a little ensign now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, well, they deserve it. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Are you angry with him for something that you don't want to talk about?
Yes, I'm very angry with him for reasons that I don't want to talk about. But if I were angry with him, it would be for very reckless and dangerous things that he did or did not do.
Very stupid things which have affected the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see.
So Lieutenant Reyes is perfectly nice. She is our new chief engineer.
How's Ensign Casey?
Oh, Lieutenant Casey's doing great.
That's a much better turnabout of circumstances.
He, well, I say great. He, obviously.
He's dying.
I'm not gonna out that. Obviously, he and Ensign Strange were very close, and so now I think less so, which can put a strain on any sort of professional situation.
It can, but they are young, and if they both have a lot going on, if Lieutenant Casey is taking the opportunity to focus on his career, and Ensign Strange needs to ground himself, personal matters can frankly prove distracting stages of a young career.
Yeah. to think so. I like to think that they have the focus of mind to pull it together. But you know how they both can get when they tunnel vision on a personal problem and go either everything is about the personal problem or everything is work and no personal problems.
My experience of what they're like under any circumstances, I do not feel was fair.
I mean, it's kind of telling that you met Ensign Strange under certain circumstances and he's done worse. Go
If
figure.
I will say, however, my analysis of Ensign Strange, if I were trying to separate the hormone influences of the facility, was actually that he was a very judicious and capable young engineer.
Hmm.
Um,
So you can imagine my surprise when he took all of that and threw it in the bin.
I'm sorry that this also appears to have been a personal slight for you, Doctor.
Well, yeah, I was there at the time, so it was a lot, you know?
It's difficult when we place trust in people and they disappoint us,
Like brothers.
like brothers.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you for understanding about that. I haven't told many people about the whole murder brother thing.
Well, I can't say I have any personal experience. However, I do understand that family can be difficult and complicated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you have decided to travel a path of your own away from family, and that I can understand.
Sometimes you have to do the thing that you think is the reasonable thing, even if you know it's going to make you very unpopular, because being popular
Yes,
isn't everything.
being popular is almost nothing.
I like being popular. I'm in favor of being popular. But quite often I can be popular without sacrificing my principles.
I suppose it depends on with whom you're popular.
Yeah, I would rather be popular with the crew of the Iskandar than popular amongst all of the citizens of the miners. Um,
Ah, yes.
and given that my family would almost certainly disown me for having a polite and pleasant conversation with you now, I say I made the right choice.
Certainly, and I appreciate your professionalism now, and even under duress, Doctor
Duress? Hmm?
Wayfarer.
Oh, that's hardly duress. That was
It
bad.
was the definition of duress.
Yeah, but everything was bad, but helping people was the least bad part of Wayfarer.
Yes, but Mr. Strange shot someone, so doing one's job in a rational manner was an achievement.
Speaking of which, how's the commander been?
We have not particularly spoken. She has managed to. She's been exceptionally helpful in ensuring that my quarters are comfortable and ensuring that I know how to best reprogram the living conditions. And we've had tea, but she's been very busy seeing to the captain's
Mm-hmm.
affairs.
Has she been seeing you often? Not at all often? Only in working hours?
A little outside working out. What are you asking, Doctor?
So, Commander Talandra is one of those really clever people who can schedule an entire starship. And
Mm-hmm.
that is a really impressive skill. She is, I believe, second only to the Starfleet engineers able to create time out of nothing. I don't think she would ever be too busy to see you, which means probably she is being polite and giving you some space. So if you are quite done with space, then I imagine she's very patient. She could be polite literally forever. Um, so I think it's probably if you want to see her up to you to be forthright about that.
Well, it's been very evident that the captain has been placing significant amounts upon the crew at present.
Mhm.
But your point is, how has she been over the year?
The year? Oh,
Well, I asked after everybody else at the Wayfarer.
yes, no, completely. Well, since then she has not been shot in the head almost nearly as much as before that.
Good.
You have been there both times, though, Mr. Elrod. You'll forgive me for saying that's mighty suspicious.
I was not present when she was shot in the head.
No, but you were present in the environs of the situation.
And I resolved the matter accordingly.
No, very impressively. So it's very difficult because Vulcans, and Vulcans is not my speciality. But I'm obviously not going to share private medical information. But as her friend, I think she's been very upset. Upset? Can Vulcans get upset? Yeah, upset. She even went during the I'm told during the peace conference she even expressed strong opinions about how cross she was at Cardassia, which is a lot. That's tantamount to her going in and slamming her hands down on the table.
That is quite significant.
Mm-hmm. I think she met your father, which is a
I
lot.
believe that happened.
Father, is that?
Yes.
Apparently, he really sucks.
My father is a devoted servant of Cardassia, Doctor.
No, you're a devoted servant of Cardassia.
We may have differences of opinions as to the best way forward for Cardassia.
Mm-hmm. I imagine only one of you thinks putting you in prison was a
That's
reasonable
one of the
configuration.
areas where we had differences of opinion, yes.
You know what? I think in that situation, opinion doesn't quite come into it. I think probably he was wrong, and it sounds a bit like he sucks.
Thank you very much. Doctor, is there anything more medical that requires your attention?
Sorry, I think I was probably projecting. My father sucks. It's fine. As far as the commander goes, she has been worried about you constantly. I think not a second has gone by that she has not been.
That's a very bold assertion, Doctor.
She is very intelligent, and she uses a lot of her brain power all of the time. I can't imagine that there was ever a time that you were not a thing that she was concerned about.
Well, thank you.
Also, you should take her rock climbing. She likes rock climbing.
Thank you for
You're
that advice.
Adina and I keep rosters on all the things that people like to do in their spare time. What do you do in your spare time?
Truthfully, having spent most of the last few years aboard a Cardassian warship, there is only a certain amount of hobbies one can sustain. We don't have recreational holodecks,
Oh,
so it's
I'm being invaded.
Pink lemonade.
I'm being brought
Nice.
Oh, thank you, Thank you, Dr. Light.
Of course, I know it's your favourite libation at this time of day.
I've been given a pink lemonade by Dr. Light.
well, we don't have that either.
I would suggest it's strawberries, it's lemons, it's his own recipe.
So truthfully, it's
well,
reading, exercise, sports in the exercise equipment in the gymnasium with the rest of the crew. Quite simple fare,
you
Doctor.
know who you should speak to, Mr. Elrad. You should speak to Lieutenant Casey, because I was going to suggest that you do more swimming, which is exercise, but it's also fun. And I think, given your current medical situation, would be good.
That's an excellent idea, Doctor.
And
Yes.
he has a great library of swimming modules because he loves swimming on the holodeck. So I think that would be good, and it would mean that you could get some exercise, but
Don't-
also
Isn't that just a pool?
but then you can experience the pleasant situation that the holodeck provides, like feeling like you're outside.
I will do that.
Thank you. I would recommend it as your doctor, which I am now.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, doctor, for the checkup, the medical advice,
Mhm.
the updates, and the personal insights.
Look, if ever you want to just have a chat, I'm right here. I have been blissfully untouched by the ship's current situation, so if you ever want to just talk to someone who's me, then that's fine.
Very appreciated, doctor. Is that all?
Yes, for now.
Then I thank you for your attentive assistance.
Bye-bye, Mr. Elliot.
Good day, doctor. Getting the fuck out of here.
Really? You shock me.
Advice Doctor is full of advice. Advice Doctor. Advice Doctor.
So, after that doctorly advice,
I will say, from the
It's-
GM's perspective, I have like a slew of people that Elrod can fucking talk to. Like, he definitely will want to talk to at some point while he is on board Iskandar with both Casey and Strange. Like, so that
Shocked.
is there from your
Sure.
for your pacing purposes.
But like, if you wanted anything immediately while we're in this, before we close out the pre-plot montage of setting the mood on the Iskander,
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Mhm.
Cool. So we then sweep from sickbay back to the bridge, where everybody is still very bored or tense if you're Captain of Thumb.
Reading.
Or if you are Lieutenant Commander Slandra, neutral.
It's difficult to tell, but yes. And then from the ops desk, Kowalski just kind of goes, "Huh,
Elaborate, Lieutenant.
sorry, Captain. We seem to have actually picked something up, but I think it's a ship."
Please either get more information or send your telemetry to science for analysis.
Yes, I'll send the telemetry to science because I don't think the computer's recognizing the ship and it's not giving anything to say who they are. If it is a ship.
Is it moving?
It is moving, Captain. About three quarters impulse.
For the moment, Lieutenant Cantos, hold our position relative to that object.
Aye, Captain. And Cantor will bring the Iskandar's speed down.
Lieutenant Casey, please take a look and give me an explanation.
Yes, Captain.
So, yep, Kowalski will send the data over to you. So, Lieutenant Casey,
What up?
I was going to give you options here, but yeah, given that one of the options for what you could roll is science, I'm guessing you're going to be rolling science.
I'd love to roll science. I'd love
He's
to
good
have
at it.
Good
fucking
science boy.
dice.
Give me a science roll.
Do you know the necessity and cost of sake rice?
I don't know who did that.
People at
Oh.
home, you're probably thinking that sounds like the kind of shit I'd do to Mike's character sheets. It actually wasn't. I
Yeah.
don't know who's defaced Mike's character sheet here,
Bye.
but on this occasion, not me.
Bye.
Someone has defaced Mike's character sheet, debasing,
I think Mike's done it just so he can blame one of us. I
debasing
think he
the
did.
aspects of young Lieutenant Casey.
I think Mike has done it himself, and it's a false flag
There's my
operation.
Dice.
You said that in the same tone you would have said, "There's my dog."
That's my dog.
Roll
Okay.
your dog. Give me a science dog.
Man, that's only a 3.
Only a 3.
What did you roll? Jesus.
I rolled
Yeah,
a
God, you must
minus
have rolled.
6 plus 4.
Jesus.
How did you roll -6? The dice physically aren't capable of doing that.
No, but it was 6 on the negative, 4 on
6
the
on the
positive.
neg.
Oh, right, -6. Yeah, okay, so it's -2, but then adding your science. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I said
Okay.
6 on the neg, so that's cool, and people will be impressed by the words I speak. Take that home with you, everybody.
Is he frozen?
I think he might have.
Yeah.
Bugger.
Yeah.
Give it a sec.
6 on the neg.
Whilst-
Bam, bam, bam.
Whilst Casey sciences at this
I can still
mysterious
hear
information.
you. I'm still
Oh.
here. I think I'm.
Oh,
no, I'm
okay,
still
it's
here.
just video
Oh.
frozen.
Curious.
Cool.
I have something.
Oh.
Cool.
Oh.
There we go.
Movement. Cool.
We're alive. Okay, so with a 3, it was a 3. Oh, they're not alive anymore.
Right.
Please hold.
Hey.
We apologise for the inconvenience.
We are blighted by technology. Hey.
Forgive
Oh,
me,
good.
friends.
Hello, welcome back. Mike, do you need to fix anything on the stream stuff? Or are we
No,
good?
it's all good.
Cool. So, a 3. Yeah, so Korsky sends across the scans of what ops have found. It is a ship, all right, but it does not match anything that's in your banks. Nothing in the databanks. The computer does not recognize this at all. Other than, looks like a spaceship, mate. That's the extent of the response you get.
Ship is matching no known configuration from our databases.
That's curious. It's on Federation space, right, GM?
Yeah,
Or
you're still in
cool.
Federation space.
Okay.
Still in Federation space. Like, it's a backwater. There's
Yeah.
not a lot out here, but it's still Federation space.
Open a channel. Unidentified vessel. Let's put it on all frequencies. Make sure they'll pick it up.
Captain?
Unidentified vessel. This is the Federation starship Iskandar. My name is Captain Athan. Our sensors aren't quite recognizing you. Could you please identify yourself for us?
No response.
All right. Bring us in a bit closer, Lieutenant Cantos. I want some further scans, Mr. Casey. I want to see what sort of profile this ship is matching. What's it using for its propulsion? What's its technological development? Is it made up of anything that's going to give us some clues as to where it's from? Is this actually just a hunk of junk that some local has put together, which is outwitting our databanks? Check see if it's just been another ship heavily modified or the like.
Scanning on all frequencies, Captain. I don't know. Like the different types of scan.
Yep. So I'm guessing you just wanted to scan all the things.
Yeah, I'm looking
and find
for,
out as many things
like,
as you can.
propulsion is a really good one to begin with. How is this motherfucker moving? Because that will give us an origin.
Give me an engineering check rather than a science check.
Go on, Casey. Well, that's only a 2.
Okay.
But I'm going to spend a fate point if I may.
Oh shit, yeah.
Saki
you
rice.
would. Saki rice.
I'm going to... listen, I know the necessity
the
and cost
rice
of
out of that
saki
spaceship.
rice. No, I constantly seek the approval of my superiors.
Yeah.
Captain Athan is
bless.
as superior as it gets, and she's been real
Bless
mad
your
at people.
cotton sockies.
I gotta
can
at
see-
least,
You can seek that captain's approval.
yeah.
So are you taking that for a reroll or just to add into two?
I'm just adding the 2. I'm gonna make it a 4.
Sure. Make it a 4. Cool beans.
Cool.
Cool beans. So with that, first of all, it's not got a warp drive.
Is it moving faster than light right now? Are we at warp and it's at warp?
No,
Well,
you are sublight.
cool.
Not a lot sublight, but you're sublight.
Important.
And so is it. As far as you can tell, it seems to be running off of an ion drive. Something that for Federation is kind of old-fashioned. It's not something you'd maybe use it for like little hops to orbit if something was literally just a surface to orbit shuttle. But it's not certainly since you got warp tech. It's not something you really use. It's it's like steam power.
And we're in deep space.
And you're in deep space. You're in the middle of fucking nothing.
Like with a small degree of it's not scorn, it's confusion with a little bit of I don't understand it, so I'm frustrated by it. He'll feed that back as a rudimentary ion thruster.
Oof.
He just looks perplexedly at the captain.
Compare our sensor profile against historical databanks.
Hi, Captain.
Captain, I think we might be getting close enough that we can put it on screen.
On screen. Do it.
So the ship appears on your screen. It is a weird looking beast. The main body of it is very sleek, very streamlined, but where most ships that you see from most civilizations they're quite geometric. This has an almost organic sort of feel to the shape of it, not in terms of its material, just in terms of its shape. And then this extends beyond, this kind of organic feel extends beyond the main body, the ship. The whole thing altogether looks almost like it has fins or wings. You'd almost think it had sails if it was a sailing boat, but it's not. It's a spaceship. So with the sleek, streamlined body as well, the overall impression is very much fish, bird, or some other sleek, streamlined sort of animal.
Lieutenant Casey, is there any possibility those are solar sails?
I'm going to let you have that off of viewer +4. Yes.
Highly likely, Captain.
Fascinating. Do we have any life signs?
Switch over to a life scan.
Give me, what would that be? Ops for a life scan?
Whatever you tell me, I'll do it.
Ops or science?
Ops or science? Yeah, ops or science. I'm honestly not actually picky, so I'm going to guess you're going to go with science.
6.
6 whole science.
6
What
sciences.
a boy.
Fresh. Red hot sciences. Steaming. Pulpating
What science
sciences.
in your area? Call now. No. No. No life science. Oh, maybe, but no. Probably no.
No life signs, Captain.
There's a brief flicker that
Oh, that was
something?
genuine.
Yeah, no, that was genuine. That is what you're getting. Sorry, that's not what you're thinking about.
No, it's okay. We're all hilarious. There was a brief anomaly on the return of the scan, Captain, but no consistent life signs.
See if you can scan for any weaker life signs, possibility of any indication that, or any of the equipment you might find for, say, suspended animation or cryo sleep.
Ah, very good, Captain. I will scan for weak, cowardly life signs. Pathetic life signs.
Or the sorts of sensor pickups you might get if if these are people who have sublight technologies but solar sails,
Yeah,
and have
sub
put
life signs
themselves
indeed.
into cryosleep.
Proper Sigma level
I
life
could
signs.
send people aboard, but also this. Cath is also sitting here going, I need to find out whether or not this is a prime directive violation if I poke this too hard. Like,
Not again.
not again.
I can't do a prime directive fucky wookie. I'm still on my high horse from the other one. Yeah, I got a 5. I say high horse, very level horse, sensible horse level.
You find the entire ship is populated by sensible horses. No,
Magic.
in terms of life signs, no, not really. In terms of technology that might be for hypersleep, it's difficult to tell from out here. That's not quite something that you could get from an external scan.
I imagine, like, if we were to scan another Starfleet vessel, we would basically look for the equivalent of the barcode on that technology, which says,
Absolutely,
this
yeah.
is this device. So it'll be fed back in I cannot say for certain, given the degree of technology on board, Captain. I would have to suggest an away mission for further investigation on that front.
Of course, I'm just apprehensive of exactly what we're dealing with here, and frankly, whether or not we have any right to go aboard. One more thing I'd like you to do, Lieutenant. If you can make as quick an interpretation as you can, I appreciate this might be, if the response to this question is you would need longer, then tell me. But if they're using solar sail technology, if it's possible for you to make any sort of extrapolation based on their present speed and course, retroactively make any calculations about their flight route.
Yes, Captain. I imagine that will be ops as fuck.
That's
not science.
That's a
surely.
science. That's science. That is. That's a.
Okay.
Here are all the various solar energies that this sail would have picked up, and now it's here. So let's try to backtrack it.
Yeah. That's
So-
science.
got
That's science
8.
as fuck. At 8, gosh,
At
that's a
8.
lot of science.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did good science.
So you have a look at the maps of the charts of the sector that you're in, and a look at the ship's trajectory, the ship's current speed, and an estimate of its acceleration based on the kind of drive that it's got, both the ion drive and the solar sails. It's not local. It's not from anywhere. You would expect that somewhere that's traveling on this kind of technology, you'd expect to be able to pick up a planet or a system within the sector that it's come from, because this kind of travel is slow. You'd have to go and look at some more charts for somewhere slightly further away that it could have come from.
I'm not able to calculate anywhere within this sector that will be a suitable point of origin. I will.
Sector.
Yes. With more time, I can maybe chart trajectory
Well,
to adjacent sectors.
if there's no life signs, then I think there's a very high risk that we're dealing with someone's space exploratory mission which has gone wrong. However, if there are no life signs, Commander Talandra.
Yes, Captain.
I'm going to have you put together an away team to go take a look aboard. There's no reason, Lieutenant Casey, Lieutenant Kowalski, we shouldn't be able to transport across. They have no deflect technology, I'd assume.
Nothing I can see, Captain.
All right. So, Commander, take Lieutenant Casey. Take Lieutenant Reyes. Not picking up any life signs. If you would like a representative from security, so be it. But I don't. But that's down to your discretion, Commander. Can't hear you.
Hello, I'm talking.
There we go.
I changed nothing. I shall defer to Lieutenant Zal on whether or not they would like to send a skeleton crew from security.
Let's see what's about the ship. See if there's any signs of life. See if there's any signs of what happened. This could be a very interesting anthropological and engineering find.
Yes, Captain, at once.
As I leave things open onto whether or not Mike wants to double sock or send an NPC or send no one, because there's no one on board so far as we know. We don't need to send an armed security team. We can send a power trio.
I think if Mike's okay with it, Talandra would think that four covered the quadrants nicely.
I will sock puppet.
Hell yeah.
Ow! Ow!
Who hit your funny bone?
I hit my
Dr.
funny
Dr. Borov to security.
Doctor, I hit my owie wowie on my elbow.
Oh,
Zal's taken out of
Garrus.
action and can't go.
Garrus, I'm so sorry. It's okay.
Surprised me more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised us as well.
Big, strong
Big surprise.
Andori. I need no man. Fuck, that wrecked.
That's okay.
Oh.
I am
Oh,
non-binary
fuzzy.
doctor. I am no man.
It went in the hole.
Mm-hmm. That's where it's supposed to go.
Did it now? That's what she
well.
said.
This is a sexy.
Well.
Can I say it? A sexy episode. There's been a lot of very sexy
We've had sex
talk.
We
position. which
have had sex position, which is a
put
first.
Yeah,
A first for
we
Iskandar, I
didn't
think, having
really
sex
have
position.
sex position. We just
No,
said
no,
it
no, no.
was sex
Izzy
position.
said it was sex position, so it was
It's-
sex position.
It's exposition by sexy people.
That's not what sex position is.
Yes, it is.
Sex position is exposition while they're having sex.
No.
Also,
Sex
if you
position-
It was coined for season 1 of Game of Thrones, where
No.
people are fucking
It was,
and
it
giving
was actually
exposition.
it was actually coined for A Knight's Tale.
get
it?
well,
Whilst-
actually,
Whilst Rufus Sewell was explaining the rules of jousting to Lady Jocelyn,
which is
and it was-
chivalrous.
which but he's a dickhead, but he was doing it in a sexy fashion because Rufus Sewell is a very sexy man, and so this is just boring exposition, and the director goes, no, it's sex position, and he's like, yeah, cool. So
You know
Game
what?
of Thrones
I prefer
doesn't
it.
get everything.
Good. I hate that.
All I'll say is, if you listen back to the VOD in the conversation between Arcady and Elrad, following the word sex position, you two say a lot of words like rigid and throbbing. Like, it's weird.
No, definitely don't say throbbing.
We'll consult the VOD later. Tune in next week to find out
Your favourite
our
weird bit from
reactions
this
to
episode.
what actually happened while we remember whatever it was we said.
The mukbang episode was a weird episode.
It was a weird episode. We don't talk about the mukbang episode.
So
we
we're
focus
sending
on this episode
away
with an
team.
away team that may or may not be sexy.
We're not
Who's-
the sexiest.
who's
possible
going on-
away team?
Who's going on the sexy away team?
Reyes. Casey,
Michael.
Philandra, and
Yes.
Zal.
And Zal?
I couldn't remember either of my characters' names.
Because I was like, Izzy's eating a biscuit. That's okay. She doesn't have to immediately say her character name. You were just
There. Except you weren't, because you just
both
for a moment.
both Michaels. Michael's in blue and Michael's in blue, but it's face paint. Are going.
So we've got Blue Michael, Reyes, and Talandra.
Reyes braining.
Okay. And you're taking the transporters across?
Yeah, it's what you do. You send a small away team, and you
Of
use
primary
transporters of
characters.
primary characters. I don't fucking care if it's sensible to send an entire 16-man team. I'm not doing it. That's not how we Star Trek.
No, that's entirely reasonable.
Yep.
So you go down to the transporter room. Fuck, I've forgotten his name. Blinkovich is there. And he beams the four of you across to the mystery ship. You materialize in what looks like it could be a cargo bay or a shuttle docking bay.
Oh yeah,
It's a
I
large
assume we checked
room
if there's
full of-
atmosphere first.
Yeah, you could have. I'll allow
If
you
not,
to have
EV
checked.
suits. That
I'll
was-
allow you to have
So we can
checked if
breathable
there's
atmosphere, that's
atmosphere.
good,
Yes,
that's
it's
good.
got breathable atmosphere. Temperature. Once you get there, you realise it's kind of actually quite a pleasant temperature there. The atmosphere smells a little stale, like it's probably been through recyclers quite a few times, but it's perfectly breathable. Nothing wrong with it.
Are there lights?
It's very dimly lit at the moment,
Torch.
but okay. By the torchlight, you can see that what you've got is a room full of crates. There is a door at one end, some dim strip lighting around the walls, some other lights on the ceiling that aren't on at the moment,
Philandra will begin the
and crates.
cursory scan of the crates, just to see what they are.
Okay. Do I want to make you make a check for that? Yeah, give me
Everything is signed.
give me an investigation
Hey.
check, but you know, it's not a high difficulty. You just don't have to not get negative.
Okay. Give me a second. Sorry, forgive me. I've sent the necessary paperwork to my character sheet and it will return in 2 to 12 working days.
Working.
Testing, testing.
That's a flat 0.
That's cool. All you have to do is not get negative. That's fine. Yeah, so you go and investigate some of the crates. The first crate you find looks kind of like agricultural sort of equipment, maybe.
Mm.
It's not necessarily agricultural equipment that you're familiar with, but it's almost certainly agricultural. You have a look around at a few more of the crates. You find similar equipment, some that looks like it would be used for popping up quick shelters.
Do I feel like the things I see would be concurrent with, like what I'd expect a colony ship to carry?
Yeah, Possibly. Not quite a full colony, unless
But like
unless there are more rooms with way more stuff.
But like, there's an amount of there's enough stuff to make say like a semi-permanent base of sorts.
That's kind of the feel you're getting
Hmm.
from some of the crates, yes.
Gonna bimble to the door and take a look at the circuitry systems, language. Really, step one is there a display anywhere? How does this door open? What the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm. Give me an engineering check for working out what's going on with the systems.
I get a 1. I'm re-roll. I'm fucking. I'm stopping and I'm thinking real hard about this situation because that was almost a critical fail. It was that bad. So I'm spending a fate point. I'm going to use my aspect of hard work, not miracle work, to try to think real hard about what I'm doing and not half-ass this like the boy wonders and re-roll. Thank you. That's much better. That is a +3 on the dice, which is a
8.
Yes, that is an 8.
Okay.
I'm getting this fucking door.
What are you trying to work out about this system that you're looking at?
I suppose it depends on what's on view.
So what you have in front of you is effectively a keypad kind of entry for the door.
Oh, I wasted fucking fate point on a door. I didn't want my first ever engineering role as my new engineer character to be dicks.
There is also a touchscreen to one side of the keypad that you can also have a look at and pull up what's on there. What it seems to be is mostly a list of what's in this cargo bay.
Nice.
Keeping track of what equipment is in there, and what you find on the list pretty much confirms what Talandra has found from her look at the crates, that you would assume that this is agricultural equipment, this is quick habitat building, this is some very, very basic science equipment in here as well. This all kind of matches up with setting up some kind of base.
Can I make any educated guesses about sort of tech levels I'm looking at based off, say, like, has this been a manual input on the cargo manifest, or has it got some degree of weighing or scanning material mechanisms in place? Like, is there anything I can extrapolate from based off these systems? And also, evidently, it's turned on, and it looks as if our universal translators are quickly picking up. It's about.
Takes a sec for the universal translator to kick in and work out what this language is, but it does kick in and work out what's going on there. So you say you're looking for an idea of what kind of tech level we're looking at here. In terms of tech level, what you're probably looking at is kind of about where Earth would have been not long before getting warp tech.
Okay. So we're thinking immediate pre-warp technology.
Yeah, the immediate, or certainly very shortly before warp tech. That kind of level of tech here.
All right, I've got a little bit of good news. It seems the universal translators are very quickly picking up on this, so it doesn't seem to be a particularly complex whatever linguistics. I'm sure Lieutenant Casey will care more about that. But probably going to be able to figure out these systems, looking like we're talking something from relatively immediate pre-warp technology, which would make sense. Can't hear you again.
I'm talking.
There we go. I think the microphone's just reluctant to pick up.
If you're confident that the ship is stable enough for us to take our time, Lieutenant, then I would have you perform a diagnostic before we proceed.
What do you want me to find out?
the purpose of the ship would be a start?
I don't know. There's much I could. I think this is this is just. Is this like on a network? Is this just really the cargo bay manifest?
It's pretty much. This is what's in the cargo bay.
Mhm.
This is the door.
Forgive me, I think I
Mhm.
misunderstood what you had access to. Talandra doesn't
No,
say
it's
that
just-
then because
that's
that's a stupid thing to say. Are you able to ascertain if there are any security protocols in place on this vessel, Lieutenant?
None that I can see on the door.
Then we proceed with caution.
Assuming that I would have immediately been yelled at by the GM with my 8 if I was wrong for saying that.
No,
Let's
no,
go
you're good.
for Lieutenant Zal, you want to go first and deal with shadows or something, whatever you're going to fight, flex out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll get ready to flex. He'll move into position to basically do a quick slice of the pie once we're through.
Okay.
That's terminology.
It is
Is it?
terminology. It is absolutely
Yeah,
terminology.
slice the pie.
When you split a room into
Oh,
sectors
right.
and room entry.
Gotcha.
My face is Reyes is like, it's a fucking empty
Sure,
ship,
it's an empty
dude.
ship.
Like that's
Not what the hell to slice the pie.
Yeah.
Cool, fair enough. I've learned words today. But yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for getting the door open because you rolled an 8 on looking at
Door
the
is my
door system and the
biatch.
cargo. Exactly, the door is your bitch.
It's a
So-
fate point on that.
All you have to do is
we know
look at
so
it.
much about this door. It's
You know
afraid
so
of what we're
much.
going to tell the internet.
Exactly, like you have put the fear of Reyes into this door. So you can get it open whenever you like.
Boop.
Door slides open.
Through, look left, look right. Any threats?
Nothing immediately.
Reyes just kind of ambles out afterwards with her torch. Like full
Okay, but-
security entry, and then like not like completely ignorantly like getting in the way, but like Zal slices the pie and then it's just boop, 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 boop.
Up, all clear. Like she's through before he said it, but like he still needs to say it.
It's, could
Did
tell by the,
Talandra and Casey go out the door as well?
tell by the lack of shooting.
Talandra is continuing to scan.
Awesome.
She is walking with all due caution. She's not like combat rolling behind Zal, but she is walking with. She does not share Reyes' opinion. She's walking with the gentle step of someone who's like, we don't know what's here. I'm just gonna defer to Zal on matters of security and continue trying to figure out this ship's deal.
Mm-hmm. As soon as you're through the door, it does slam shut behind you.
Have a
Look at
quick
Reyes.
look. Is that is it locked?
Not in a way that you couldn't just open again. It's
Just shut.
it's shut and it has locked itself,
Yeah.
but it's as locked as it was when you found it.
It's resealed itself, but that could just be robust containment, robust security. There's stuff in there. Doesn't mean we've triggered anything.
Talandra is confident in her assessment and presses on.
Okay. You find yourself in again, it's that same dim lighting. It's almost kind of like emergency lighting sort of thing. In a corridor with that same kind of dim lighting. You can see more doors down both sides and at the end of the corridor. Seems to just be one door at one end of the corridor, and then a couple doors on either side of it. The one you've just come out of, another one on the same side, another couple on the opposite side too.
Based on our location, can I make any kind of informed guess as to location of any command center or location of any engine room? Like from the scans that we've had.
So
Even just direction.
from the scans you've got, it looks like the section that you're in of the ship is just going to be more warehousey, cargo-y kind of areas. So between you'd expect that out of the 3 doors, that you've not gotten through that are on either side of the corridor, you will find more of what you've just found. And you'd expect that if you go through the door at the end, that will take you further into the main body of the ship.
Cool. Reyes will make sure that is known. So, do we want engine room or bridge?
Talandra will aim for the bridge. If
I mean,
possible.
we're not really sure what we'll find first, so I suppose it's just either one. But
Talandra would ideally like to find the bridge first, but is just sweeping through.
Okay, so you can all leave the cargo section through that door at the end. Again, it's that same. You can unlock the door, go through it, and it slams shut again behind you in the same way.
too early to make assumptions on why I'm not worried about us getting trapped. But
No, indeed.
I'll get a bit more curious if the door keeps on doing that when we're not in the cargo hold. What's before us? What's our path? What's our room? What's in our 10-foot by 10-foot room?
Well, initiative, no. So again, you're now into, it's a slightly narrower, dim corridor, and again, doors off either side. From your guess of the ship layout, from looking at things, you'd imagine that if you take the corridor that's kind of slopes slightly down and to the right, that would take you towards the engine room. Or if you took the path that kind of laid slightly up and to the left, that would probably bring you round towards the bridge, or certainly further towards the main body of the ship.
Okay.
So, which way do you go? Do you all go the same way?
Actually, yeah, I think I'd be content to split the group on this. I think Talandra would send. Oh no, there's no good options here. I think Talandra would send.
I mean, if it would make sense to send Reyes to the engine room and Casey to the bridge.
Yeah, so I think it's.
Let me take Zal so Mike doesn't talk to himself.
Yeah, no, I think it's... no, I was trying to figure out. I think it's Reyes and Zal and Casey and Talandra.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable as a party split.
Sorry, you seem to be like fighting that. I didn't mean to jump in.
Well, it was just look, Reyes is difficult, but like in a good way.
And like this way, you can sense, the squidgy science boy has a Talandra, and the presumably at least a little bit squidgy engineer has a Zal.
I mean, certainly squidgier than Zal.
Yeah, squidgier than Zal. So let's start with Talandra and Casey.
Good, I'm gonna get a drink.
So you can poodle up the corridor. There are more doors either side of this corridor. It's not in immediate to the bridge. There are other sections of the ship that this is around. Do you go looking in any of these, or are you just making a beeline for the bridge?
I think we are happy to amble.
Okay.
Not a word I would use to describe either of them, but it's fair enough.
Let's see. Let's. Yeah, you make your roll for just opening a couple of doors. Open the first few doors that you find. This looks like what you've got here are kind of a living quarters sort of arrangement. You've got bunk beds, but there's not a lot of space in here. They're quite tightly packed. It doesn't look like they're intended for long-term use. In fact, either of you or both of you make me investigation rolls.
4, I think.
Okay.
My character sheet reloaded the moment I... because it wishes not to be perceived.
-1.
Hey!
Yeah, that's +4.
Okay. Let's start with Casey. Yeah, you're not getting a lot else more than what I've already said. These are living quarters. There are bunk beds. There are small amounts of storage for putting personal effects in that all seem to be empty. They're quite small. There's not a lot of space. About it. Talandra, looking at these, these look like they have been used at least once or twice, but it has been a long time since they've been touched. There's that kind of, it's not that kind of pristine look that you'd expect of something that was on a ship like this that's never been used ever. It doesn't have the spaceship equivalent to that new car smell. So, yeah, it has seen some use, but not for a very long time. You're probably looking at quite a number of years.
Well, it chimes with our knowledge about the age of the ship, perhaps.
But no real indication of who was here.
No. I had hoped perhaps the living quarters might give us some clues, but...
No, I think that was a very poignant superstition, but...
We shall continue to the bridge.
Of course.
As you leave the room that you're in, both of you make me notice checks.
Critical success.
Oh yeah.
I won.
Okay. Casey, you think you hear footsteps further up the corridor.
Towards the bridge or away from it?
Towards the bridge.
Commander, I don't think we're alone.
Talandra will glance to the way we are going and will say, "Do you hear something, Anson?" As she will begin scanning.
Someone retreating, I think.
No, the footsteps you because you got a critical success. You can tell the direction those footsteps are coming. So the direction is towards the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
The direction they're heading is towards you.
Oh, approaching us, Commander.
Talandra will obviously still scan for life signs or signs of anything.
Not picking up life signs. But you do pick up, we'll call it electromagnetic signals.
I believe some sort of technological source, Ensign. Lieutenant. Talandra doesn't make that mistake.
How curious.
And as you're pondering this, Talandra, now you can hear the footsteps.
Fascinating.
And round the corner comes a humanoid figure. They are... What you can see of their skin is a very pallid, sickly colour, quite a sickly sort of green. But most of their face, most of their body's covered with a uniform of some kind. But a lot of the hands and a lot of the face are covered with robotic-looking implants. And we will take a break there.
I have some concerns.
On that concerning note.
Ancient Borg! Oh no.
Find out after the break, I guess.
Okay.
I already hate this ship. That's rare. Speaking of Iskandar.
I'll press the break button now. See you in 15.
And we'll be back in about 15, but back 5 past, 10 past, that sort of thing.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Bye.
What we're aiming for. Bye.
We are ka-chow.
What up? Assuming we're actually live, Michael.
Who knows what
Yeah.
ka-chow means?
Ka-chow
Who
means
knows what
we are
ka-chow
live
means?
and everyone heard me say ka-chow.
Well, in that case, ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
Welcome back.
Ah, good ka-chow to you.
Welcome back to Star Trek Iskandar. Hope you had a lovely break. We did. I have topped up my lemon and ginger tea. We'll dive pretty much straight back in, I think, because we left it on a bit of a concerning note with Talandra and Casey and their new friend.
The not Borg. Or Norg.
So, yes, Talandra, Casey, in front of you is this green-skinned person with robot implants. And they've come to a stop and are looking at you.
Talandra will I guess she's holding her tricorder, but she will sort of twist it to the side to indicate she's not aiming it at this thing, and has stopped scanning for now, because she is doing the Starfleet protocol gestures of I'm non-violent. I'm here as a looking abouts person, not a shooty bangs person. And she will say, "Greetings."
They don't respond. They continue to look. Well, no, I say they don't respond. They don't respond verbally. They, instead of just looking between the two of you, now look at you. And are looking you up and down.
Talandra glances to Casey in that sort of rapid way that indicates just that he may science if he wishes to science, but will continue her gentle diploming, and will continue, I guess, the greeting protocols of I am Lieutenant Commander Talandra of the USS Iskandar. Are you able to identify yourself or this vessel?
And they take a step toward you.
Talandra is very chill about the whole thing, because she doesn't overreact to situations, but is waiting with bated breath on whatever Casey's up to.
I am eyes fixed on my tricorder, scanning the ever-loving shit out of it.
You do that. Give me a science roll.
7.
7. That's a lot of science. Yeah, so your earlier assessment of no life signs and just a kind of an electromagnetic signal, yeah, that's still holding up. There's not a life sign here. This is not a living, breathing person. It appears to be entirely operating based on those implants that you would assume. You'd probably assume at this, based on that it's more robotics than organics. It doesn't look like Borg tech. I will also give you that because you got a 7.
Commander,
So it is not registering as Borg tech.
Commander, whatever implants have been put into this individual, there is basically nothing left of the individual.
Talandra doesn't speak rapidly, but Casey knows enough about her and about Vulcans to know that she is saying this with urgency of forethought. We'll say, "It would seem so, Lieutenant. What is the function of this individual?"
Giving it more of like a look over, are there any notable weapons that are part of its accoutrement? Is it...
No, no weapons. Like, it's got robot-y hands that you'd probably assume have quite a lot of strength in them, but it hasn't got weapons. What it appears to be doing is scanning you both.
It seems to be scanning us in return, Commander. Its intentions beyond that, I am uncertain.
Talandra is content to be scanned. That is not secret information. Nevertheless, again, moving gently and slowly, not like she's under weapons focus, but just to indicate that she's moving things in a sort of fluid way. We'll just very gently ping Lieutenant Reyes.
As you go to ping Reyes, there's a kind of... I'm trying to think how best to describe it. Like an error message noise from what's in front of you. And it moves towards you a bit more and reaches out to you. As if to grab your shoulder.
Yep. Talandra is going to take a step back in a defensive sort of way. Again, slowly, just going... just making it very clear she doesn't want to be grabbed. And we'll ping Reyes. If she's gonna have to fight this thing whilst talking to Lieutenant Reyes, then I guess
that's what we're going with. Okay, so meanwhile,
Lieutenant
Reyes, Lieutenant Zal, you've been off putting down towards engineering.
Guess you want to go first?
Yes, let's keep that up as a trend.
Okay.
You get down to what you reckon is probably the engineering section. And again, you've got those kind of locked doors.
Oh, let me crack this. Should be a piece of cake, and then we can take a look at the ion drive. Now, if this thing is still functioning with any kind of decency, then I don't think I will have seen something which wasn't just a recreation. It loses something when it's a recreation, you know? She says as she's working.
Yeah.
Sounds
Actually,
monumental.
just for my record, is Saul Reyes the ranking officer in there?
Reyes.
I thought it was, but I wasn't.
Zal's a lieutenant junior grade.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, and Reyes is full lieutenant.
Full lieutenant, yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll again
Yeah.
for the door. You've done them before.
Door's my bitch.
Doors are your bitch. You quite firmly established your dominance over doors earlier. So this door slides open.
Oh, I thought you'd frozen.
No,
I thought you'd
gestures.
Zal, it's now a little theatrical. Like maybe like down on one knee, slice the pie. Just
Combat roll
because
through the door.
yeah,
Hair
like
over.
we're not under any danger, so we can just have a bit of fun.
You got those shadows all dealt with, Lieutenant?
I don't know. There's one over there that I don't like the look of, but I'll keep an eye
Alright.
on it.
Stay sharp.
As you go in, again, the engineering section has the same kind of door shut.
We haven't encountered any other doors, have we? Because
You've-
Reyes is
Yeah, you have just gone. Yeah, engineering is
okay.
quite close to cargo bay.
Okay,
There's not
that's
a
cool.
lot
Doesn't mean
else.
anything. Doesn't mean anything. I wonder if that's
And-
a containment factor. You know, if there's a breach in each section, it keeps sections pressure.
Oh, maybe this ship's under a perpetual lockdown, and we're breaching it, and so it's very quickly rectifying.
Could be. Sweep around.
Yeah. So again, it's that kind of dim emergency lighting, and a slight kind of pale purple glow from the direction of the engine.
Things I should have checked beforehand. Just get on track on it. Let's make sure we're not just huffing a load of radiation.
No, the glowy ion drive.
Glowy ion drive. Oh. All right. I think, especially considering that we're on emergency power, might do us some good if we can. Well, not going to fiddle with anything until I talk to the commander. But let's see what we can find out, and I'll see what I can figure out as much as I can do down here. Because I think we're probably going to need to bring all the systems back to full power if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go take a look. Head over
You-
towards the drive core.
Take a mosey over towards the engine. Make me an engineering check.
That is a +5. But nothing on the dice.
Nothing on the dice. Cool. Yeah, so in a similar way to how back at the cargo bay you had some little pads set in the walls that will give you basic information about what's in the room, you can find similar with the engineering section near the ion drive. You can go into that and flash up some information about what this engine is doing.
Mm-hmm. And how long has it been running?
How long it's been running. So how much of a connoisseur of old-fashioned propulsion types is Reyes?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Reyes is the kind of person where if you're in the modern day, she'd have classic cars, kind of.
Yeah,
Like,
classic
yeah.
cars might be a bit of a steam train nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a nice ion drive. Like, this is probably the most efficient ion drive that you have ever seen. Not that you've seen that many, they're not exactly common these days. But yeah, this has been very well built. Whichever civilization put this drive together were clearly experts at this kind of technology.
This is really actually very impressive. I mean, it's about as sophisticated an ion drive that I've seen, because the moment that most civilizations pick up warp technology, they don't have to worry about, and they've got a warp reactor, they don't have to worry about energy levels in the same way. So
Sure.
you kind of sort of move away from this kind of thing into anything kind of a bit more, something with a fusion reactor strapped to it, driver core, all that. But yeah, reliant upon the actual electroplasma from the warp core. Whereas this is technology which has generally been abandoned in development because it was obsolete, but this is a beauty.
You think this was a ship that this is the cusp of warp?
Oh yeah, these people seem technologically about you're assuming that technology advances in a straight line, but they are comparable to a lot of pre-warp civilization technology that I have seen. Maybe they've taken a different route, maybe they're doing something else, but yeah, bit weird that they're out here, but I think there's a very high chance that everyone aboard is dead. Solar sail technology, very unreliable.
Yeah, poking around at the drive some more. You can, now that you've seen the schematics for it, now that you've seen the efficiency that it operates at, you can probably make an educated guess at how long this has been running for. Probably looking at about somewhere between 150 to 200 years.
Okay.
This has been going a while.
Second question then. When was the last indication anyone had any input into the system?
Last time someone had input into the system. Define input.
Like, even if it's just a log entry or an indication that something has been manually altered or adjusted, like, this is still a delicate piece of technology, and Reyes is at the very least curious on how, if this is 150 to 200 years and no one's touched the damn thing, so she is looking for any indication of a user end interaction with it, whether or not is physical maintenance or like, let's adjust the plasma flow on the whatever or blah blah, that kind of thing.
That kind of thing. So it looks like there are still automated systems keeping tabs on things and moving stuff around. In terms of when manual input was last had, a couple of years.
Okay. Yeah, so Reyes will be kind of talking aloud, and she isn't like she is being a bit nerd, but she is, oddly for her, this isn't actually about her being good with people, it's just about the way she talks. She actually is kind of making it relatively accessible. Like, she thinks it's interesting, but she isn't going, and it's the blah 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 with the bloopy bloopy bloop. Like, she's
no, Zal is engaged.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter whether or not Zal is or isn't. That's still how she's talking. She's at least aware she's talking to a layperson with it. But yeah, and so she will be of the 150, 200 years this thing's been running, got a lot of automated systems. But if that shadow. So I think someone has tried to at least do a little bit of a minor regulation of the energy levels to stop anything from about a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago?
Yeah, this thing's been running for 150 so years, a couple centuries.
But
now, I couldn't promise you that this thing has been, traveling from its original destination for 200 years. Like, it's a 150, 200-year-old engine.
Sure. Okay.
And it's got very sophisticated automated systems. In fact, do I think that this thing's probably been designed to mostly be an yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. This has been designed such that most of its maintenance is done automatically.
yeah. So and it's been designed for automation, but it's someone sometimes obviously need a bit of user end input, or I'd probably be out of a job by now. And someone's poked it in the last couple of years.
Okay.
I feel at this point Reyes' badge goes off.
It's about to dump her combat jumps.
So it's awkward because I think that while this is happening, I'm going to need to know what's happening to Talandra with the thing.
Yeah, Mike's probably going to don't have his golem a little bit here. I'm sorry, Mike.
That's
But
fine.
we're mashing the two scenes together. Yes, so where's Katie stood relative to your new friend?
Kind of beside and to the left of Talandra. If it's reached for Talandra, I imagine it's stood slightly to her right.
Okay.
So
Mostly
I'm
just
a
establishing
little...
who's closest to it.
Yeah,
So it sounds like you're further away from it than Talandra. It's still.
I would
Talandra's
say
taken
so.
that step back.
Yeah. Talandra took a step back, but she would actively have been putting herself between Casey and it. Primarily
Yeah, sure.
Casey's doing the scanning and she's doing the talking.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. In that case, it is still trying to make a grab for Talandra as the closest one of the two of you whilst this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it close enough to start trying to get you to make fight checks on it, actually?
Yes, how much do I just hear? Ah! The distant screaming of Casey in the background.
It probably is, actually. I mean, how was it like just a little bit of a step back or like a whoa?
So
kind of step back.
Talandra is basically assuming this thing is moving not super quickly, like it's
Not
moving
super quick,
Yeah,
but like it is certainly moving now, like, rather than like that initial kind of step forward to get a closer scan of you. It is now moving with intent towards you.
Talandra has been doing her initial move was doing the sweep back, put a hand out for Casey, and if it then speeds up, she is very clearly going to indicate that Casey should be moving, and if he does, she will move much quicker. Like her intention is that he should run and that she can like move away while communicating with Reyes. If he dawdles, then there might be a fight.
Yeah,
gotcha. I think they know each other well enough that if she gives very much the indication of you actively run to the end of the corridor, then he will do that.
Cool.
She's not going to begin running until he's moved.
Okay. In that case, I won't make you make fight checks just yet.
Hooray!
But you can talk to Reyes.
Very well. Then Talandra is backing
Whilst it's
off.
making a grab.
Yeah, Talandra is backing off and will go. Lieutenant Commander Talandra, Lieutenant Reyes.
Reyes here. I'm not sure we're alone on this ship.
I can confirm that, Lieutenant. I am currently engaged in a potentially hostile. I'm currently engaged with a potential hostile.
Oh shit.
What's your location?
Talandra, who is still holding her tricord, will attempt to send the scan to the information that she has scanned to Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
And is saying, we are currently falling back to your position.
Yeah, no, we're not seeing anything down there.
You may be about to, Lieutenant.
Okay, lots.
Just one for now.
Pull out the phaser.
Yeah, let's phaser out. Let's go and meet them.
I'm gonna keep the door open. the doors that slam shut.
All right, good idea.
Oh, are you rigging the engineering door that you're? I'm assuming you're now leaving engineering to go.
Yeah, heading
to
to
head up
engineering,
to-
and Reyes is planning to hold position at the door to engineering so that no one gets locked out of engineering.
Oh, okay, so you're staying in the engine room then.
Yeah, she'll basically try to stay there, trying to hold the door open.
Okay. Make me an engineering check to keep the door open.
6.
Okay. Stores might have been your bitch once.
Oh no.
But now that you're looking in more detail rather than just door open, door shut, now you're looking to actually keep the door open. You're actually having to do some overriding here over the security. There are some security systems that are operating these doors and slamming them shut behind you. So you're having to do a bit of fighting with the security system. And with a 6, you can have this as well. The security system seems to be reacting to you trying to override it.
Automated
Managed to.
system.
You managed to
Okay.
override it, but it's not just a straightforward hack override. It reacts.
Yeah. Oh,
Have
you've
to
overridden this. Well, that's not okay. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
X. Okay.
Yeah, and then you have to override X.
Insofar as she can, guys are like, oh, that's really interesting. And also have her tricorder, she's also doing this to occasionally let's get some readings while I'm doing this. So long as she can, she will maintain that as the position and try to,
Okay. Zol, what are you doing whilst Reyes is doing this?
I am equally getting my phaser out. If the door is open right now, or is
Doors open and is currently held.
then I'll be moving to the next set of doors, or if it's a corridor, the next junction in the corridor, the most likely intercept point, and then coming down to Talandra and saying, "How far are you from our original location?"
Talandra gives accurate information to that in response.
Zal will respond with roughly how far away she is from our current location.
Yeah. They are practiced and tediously precise.
Yep. The distances you give are kind of similar because there's not a lot between the cargo bay and engineering. So where Zal will probably end up as the last junction is the one between the corridor that goes down to engineering, the corridor Talandra and Casey went up, and the door through to cargo.
Yeah.
Talandra and Casey. So this thing is Mr. Robot is still making a go for Talandra. And I think at this point, it's probably got close enough. It seemed that you've moved back. It's responded to that as now making a more concerted effort to grab at you.
Yes.
Make me a fight roll.
No, I don't agree. T-Dog. That's +5.
Dang.
Oh, dang. She doesn't have much in fight. This is pretty good.
Yeah, what happened? Remind me, how does matching work in Fate?
For a
I've
match,
got 5 as well.
So for a match, the aggressor does not succeed.
Yeah.
However, they get a free boost.
A free boost next time.
To use, next time.
Okay. So Robot Friend doesn't succeed at grabbing Talandra, then I think what I'm gonna say is the boost is that in their effort, Talandra moves out the way easily. This is still quite a clumsy thing, but as it's kind of gone for you and kind of stumbled past you a little bit, so it's now a little more. You'd almost have to go past it slightly, or provoke it in some way to get past, to now get to where Casey is further down the corridor, and they do to get to the exit of the corridor.
That's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine.
What do you do?
She is still.
Actually,
ensuring-
Casey, what are you doing?
Thank
Sorry.
you.
My instruction has been primarily to retreat. So he will be doing that. He's not doing a full-bodied run away. He's
Yeah.
trying to keep Talandra in line of sight, but he's equally trying to get as much distance between her and it as possible. Because if nothing else, if there is a need, I can reinforce with phaser fire. But for the time being, it is like an active retreat while still maintaining that line of sight.
Okay. So in that case, Talandra, back to you.
She will attempt to duck around it and follow on out.
Okay. Make us a roll. I think that's still fight. Unless you...
I think it's still fight.
I think it's still fight. I was just thinking, could you go athletics at this point? No, I think athletics will come in once you're past.
Yeah, you could, but I
it.
feel like this is close quarters, so like.
Yeah, exactly. Athletics comes in for putting distance between you and it. Cath, feel free to jump in and say that's not right.
It's worth bearing in mind. Like, I think it's always a difficult thing with Fate and other systems, but it's worth considering. Like, Fight doesn't really care how you do it.
It just cares that you are in a fight.
Yes. How you do it is entirely down to your
Irrelevant.
description.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, in that case, make us a fight check.
Right. It won't be as good this time. I... That's a +3.
6. Yeah,
There's no point in my re-rolling because I rolled not terribly.
and I haven't even used the boost yet either.
Yeah, it's just-
That boost does that boost stay for just this round, or does it stay until I've used it?
For the fight, it's for the purposes of
the fight sequence.
Yes, or like assuming circumstances don't change. Basically, for as long as
Yeah.
it could realistically last, it would.
Cool.
Although again, if it wants to do damage, the degree of success does make a
Matter.
difference.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep hold of the boost then. It will have grabbed Talandra by the shoulder quite hard. So I guess you're taking there's 3 difference of 3 there on the damage, so take that how you will.
Cool. I guess I'm taking that as stress.
Oh no, you don't need to do it like that. The way stress boxes work in a somewhat counterintuitive way, it is a 1 stress box, a 2 stress box, and a 3 stress box. So you could either fill in the 1 of the 2 or the 3.
Or the 3, yeah. It's not you had 3 stress boxes, 3 points of damage fills your stress boxes. Yeah, I had the same problem.
Much World of Darkness recently, everything is a sliding scale.
It's an easy mistake, which is why I was like, I'm going to make sure Izzy gets this right, because it's easy mistake to make.
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't get it wrong.
Yeah,
so
Talandra gets her shoulder grabbed. It
Yep.
sucks.
Casey.
I gotta shoot him. Him hurt.
Him hurt mum.
Him hurt mum. I gotta set phaser to stun.
Okay.
It is a machine.
Yep.
I do.
How we can depersonalize this alien. Real
I was
quick.
explicitly told it wasn't a thinking creature.
You were told
Well,
it didn't have life signs.
Yeah, well, that's basically the same.
Sad commander data.
I got 0 on that. So
-3.
Nice.
Count athletics for shit.
You get quite a good solid hit on it with the phaser.
Set to stun.
It spasms when it's hit with the phaser. and for a second it looks like it's locking up, and almost kind of squeezes Talandra's shoulder just a little bit more,
Super.
and
Ripping
then
out her arm.
and then it just goes limp and hits the floor like a sack of spuds. It is downed.
Talandra continues the plan
Twitches
to pull
slightly
back.
on the floor, and then nothing else happens.
Talandra continues the plan to pull back to the other two. Seems that if there is a situation afoot, then the team must be together.
Yep. I follow Talandra.
She will
From the
step
front.
carefully over this thing, observing it for any other signs as she does so.
No.
Or I guess since she's up close to it, any other like hidden secrets, big writing on its side.
How closely are you looking? Or are you
mean,
mostly focused on like quick look and get away?
Well, she's stepping over it carefully in
Sure.
case it grabs at her again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's a perceptive being, so she's looking. But
Mm-hmm.
Chair, why do you do this?
Yeah, so like, as well as obviously it doesn't have any life signs, but it now seems just dead. There is no sign of activity at all coming from this.
Well, she'll jog to catch up with Casey and then regroup. Regroup. with the
Okay.
others.
Regroup. So you first regroup with Zal. You meet outside the door that you initially got into this corridor from.
What's the situation?
One assailant, stunned.
Okay.
No sign of life. Technological implants on potentially organic matter.
Technological implants.
Not Borg. For now.
Okay.
Not communicative, but gently hostile.
Interesting. But kind of keeping an eye down the corridor, he'll kind of reverse into the engine room.
Beep, beep.
That's what I was at.
Caution,
like-
this
Alright, it would be
Andorian
real
is
easy if-
reversing.
If you want to have a conversation, it would be a bit easier if you did it all inside, because this door really wants to shut.
All right.
I will stop trying to make the door shut once everyone's inside.
Okay.
I'll stop trying to make the
Andra-
doors not shut.
Talandra,
Yeah.
while retreating,
Once
will
you-
trade her tricorder for her phaser and will cover Zal.
Yep, you can retreat in a fairly orderly fashion. Nothing else of note happens as you pull back to the engine room. You will enter the engine room, and not as soon as Reyes stops fighting the door, but a fairly short while afterwards, the security system reasserts itself, and the door slams shut again.
Interesting. Oh. What have we got, Commander?
Based on the scans I sent you, Lieutenant, I believe some sort of organic life form or former life form with extensive technological implants, no signs of biological life. Lieutenant Casey, no sense of higher brain function?
That I would need more time to ascertain, but certainly the majority of immediately scannable biological functions seem to be non-functional.
So, this ion drive's been in operation for about a couple of centuries. However, and this is a very automated ship. The systems are clearly designed for it to be able to run for as long as possible without external input. Quite sophisticated. Whatever reason there is for the doors to keep on shutting behind us and sealing behind us, when I was trying to keep the doors open, there is some very significant cybersecurity software on this ship. It wanted to shut the door. I had to override it. It attempted to bypass me. I was just trying to keep the door open. I needed to keep quite a consistently trying to bypass its own security systems. Very sophisticated automation. However, the ion engine has been received physical maintenance within the last 2 years. So it could be from... Is there a possibility that we're dealing with actually just another form of automation, a physical form of automation? You didn't pick, is your mic's not picking up?
That had been my thought.
So they weren't... Were they in any way communicative?
I attempted communication. I attempted contact. I scanned. It scanned me. I did not approach in a hostile fashion. It seemed not to react violently, but as if... what's what I'm looking for? Detention was its primary goal. Talandra checks her shoulder.
Yeah, like it's a bit bruised looking because a robot has grabbed you quite hard.
Stress doesn't stick around.
No, I was about to
after a
say,
fight, does it?
stress lasts for the scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I imagine then the stress sloughs off as Talandra checks her shoulder, rolls it, and goes, nevertheless, it is formidable.
I guess it's down to you, Commander, and if we're going to go along, get back there, myself and Lieutenant Casey poke it, or if we're bugging out if this is a hostile.
Are we secure in this space, Lieutenant Reyes?
I think... I don't... Yes, I think the door is secure, but I don't know what control these people... I don't know.
If necessary, is it possible to deadbolt the doors?
I can try, but again, we've got some very sophisticated automated systems which are adapting to our efforts.
Stay alert.
Do we
No, go on.
still have comms with the ship?
Literally, I was about to do that.
Sorry.
Stay alert then. Stay alert then, Lieutenant. I'm going to report into the captain, which I was going to do anyway.
That was just the fear that we couldn't was rather the thing. Like,
Talandra's
can we?
intention was make sure that we are safe before she reports to the captain about what they do next. Like,
Okay, right. Reyes does not pass comment. She just has a worried frown for a moment as Talandra does the thing.
I'm not going to do it now.
Okay.
I'm just going to sit here and think about how unacceptable this was.
Oh, you sit there and think about how unacceptable this was.
Away team to Iskandar.
Yep, the Iskandar can respond.
Ah. Iskandar here, Commander.
Having fulfilled a initial examination of the vessel, Captain, we were correct that there were no signs of active life aboard. However, there appears to be a complicated technological entity, potentially more than one, throughout the ship. Lieutenant Reyes has reported a equally complicated system of security within the ship. Several centuries of activity. And we have come under some amount of hostility.
Understood. Has there been any efforts communicating?
I attempted to engage vocally with the entity, but no attempts have been made technologically as of yet.
I see. Are you asking for extraction, Commander?
I am asking for orders, Captain.
I suppose then it's your assessment, Commander, whether or not, one way or another, we're going to need to try to make contact. I think I would assume that your likeliest point of contact is still going to be the bridge to either access its computer systems or make contact with any crew, for lack of a better term, based off your briefing. So to that end, Commander, if you think that you can get this done with the away team that you have, proceed. If you wish to regroup and for us to attempt to possibly try to network communicate with the computer systems remotely, then we'll proceed that way.
I believe that our best course of success either way, Captain, is to make contact with the bridge that Reyes can at least set up a relay for the ship.
We can maintain a transporter lock on you. So if you proceed, if you run into further obstacles, we will transport you out and try to take a different approach.
Thank you, Captain.
Remember, obviously, preserve the safety and security of the away team, but it's a very high possibility that we are intruders to a people with whom we have not yet been able to communicate.
It is unfortunate, Captain, that a shot has already been fired, but...
Agreed. Yes, if you run into any more obstacles, I will have you transported out, and we will have we will make an alternative approach rather than bull rushing our way on someone else's ship.
Yes, Captain.
Good luck. Keep me posted.
Away team out.
And yeah, Tharn is going to give you instruction. Let's keep a transporter read and lock on the team, because no point in freaking out yet, because they might have just stumbled across an automated security system. But if they run into more trouble, then not only is that dangerous, but also means that we're being very rude.
Okie dokie. Take a note of that. So, away team.
Sorry, I was moderating. Our plan is then we must reach the bridge. Lieutenant Reyes, Lieutenant Casey, your goal once we arrive at the bridge is to mine as much information as is necessary and potentially put the mechanisms in place to create a relay back to the Iskandar should we need to extract quickly and still maintain some quantity of knowledge of the ship. I'm aware that this may be difficult given the unknown and complicated nature of the ship systems.
I'll obviously keep trying to monitor to try to figure out if we want to talk to someone aboard or if we want to talk to the ship itself.
It may well be whatever we can achieve, Lieutenant. Keep me posted. We will be flexible.
Sure.
In the meantime,
yes, Commander.
In the meantime, Lieutenant Zal, we will cover the technicians. It may well be that there was only one of those entities and that it will remain stunned, but it also may well be that there may be more danger. I would ideally like to proceed without engaging any more of these things violently in case we are invaders onto their ship. But I also understand that that is not always possible.
Understood, Commander.
Are we going to have time? Is it going to be reasonable for Lieutenant Casey and me to take some more scans of the individual?
Whilst we are on the way, we shall see.
Sure.
And I guess we team up and roll out.
Now we can slice pie.
Yep,
Pie, pie.
slice that pie. You can have another fight with the door and get it open. You can still, get it open. It's just keeping it open that seems to be difficult.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll stop doing that, frankly, especially assuming how Reyes can relatively quickly get the doors open, right?
Mhm.
Okay, then that's not a problem. Like, she's worried that the doors are going to get locked and stay locked, or it's going to need to be like crack the door open while the thing is coming at us.
Certainly, even though you've had a bit of a fight with the computer system, it still opens relatively easily. You might need to. It takes a slightly more work than it did before. That's more on doing your own overrides.
Okay, cool. Just roll out after the commander who's in charge and Lieutenant Zal, who's big.
Indeed.
So yes, the big and in charge people go first, and off you go back up the corridor, back up the way you came, or back up the way to Landra Casey came. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's Talandra first, then Reyes and Casey, and then Zal on point.
Oh no.
Yeah, you can quite easily make your way back up to where you were. Reyes and Zal, you can see that this is kind of, as the corridor sweeps round and up, you have rooms off to the left and right that aren't secured off in the same way that cargo and engineering were.
Interesting.
You can see that they are, again, as described, it's that quite Spartan, kind of unused space. And also you can see that there in the middle of the floor is body.
Well, I guess it's
Robot bits.
better that they're still there.
Mm-hmm.
Zal and Talandra, I think, will just spread out in that way that covers Reyes and Casey, and Athan gives the bare minimum courtesy of nods to indicate, yep, this is a thing you can do. Carry on, do your science.
All right, Casey, let's take a look.
Yes, sir. Let's start scanning it.
I'm gonna scan it too.
We scan it
you can
together
both-
like friends might.
You can
Not
both
friends.
scan it.
Don't do that shit. I'm not your fucking friend, strange child.
We're work acquaintances at best.
Pretty
I
sure
got,
strange child is the wrong description to use. Okay, so
In some fanfics, I got a 3.
I got a 7.
okay.
Okay, you win. You're smarter. We get it.
We're back to this stage of science versus engineering. Reyes isn't playing.
No, I'm too scared of you to play.
Okay, we'll start with what both of you can find out. So on the 3, it dead. It's very dead. It's so dead. Like,
It dead and was moving, and then I shot it with a phaser, or it was moving, I shot it with a phaser, and now it dead. There's a subtle but
there
significant
is.
distinction.
I was getting to that. Damn it! Let me exposit. So, from looking at it and establishing that it's dead, not only were the organics of it, they've been dead for a while. The electronics and the robotics look like they've been basically fried. By the phaser blast, since it was moving around until you shot it. It looks like your phaser blast was enough to just overload the circuits. It's a delicate piece of kit, despite its strength. But yes, you would say that it was dead in a not alive sense before, and is now dead in a that's not moving and those systems aren't working sense. Would you get anything else off of 3? Yeah, from the 3, you can probably get an idea of how much of it is organics and how much of it is made up of cyborg bits. There's not a huge amount of organics left, and you can even see that what organics are left, that kind of pallid color, now that you're looking close, it's kind of decaying a little bit. What's left of, the fleshy bits. Further examination from an engineering point of view, you can have a proper look at the robotic implants on this. It looks like it's been put together quite piecemeal. This doesn't look like it was all done in one go.
Mm-hmm.
Like some bits have showing more wear and tear than others, suggesting that they've been operating for a while. So one of the hands looks quite a recent addition. The other looks like it was there for a bit longer. A lot of the stuff around the head looks like it's kind of the oldest, whereas some of the bits in the torso are a bit fresher. It also doesn't look like it's... If you were looking at this as a single engineer's work, it looks like it was all put together by the same person. But it's been... Even the construction of the bits is quite piecemeal. It's almost like it's been done with spares.
That was the thing I was going to ask.
Yeah, it's not like they're not built in a consistent way, a consistent style, but not.
There's been some improv that has been necessary to keep
yeah,
this
exactly.
thing operating.
A bit of a bodge job has had to be done. A good bodge job, but a bodge job nonetheless. Like, this is some good bioengineering and cybernetics work, but...
And I assume some of these have happened, as you say, fairly recently, again, within the last few years?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any indication of brain? Reyes is basically wondering if it's got Wi-Fi. Like, where's it getting its instructions from? Does it have a connection to like the ship systems? Or assuming it is getting its instructions remotely rather than
it is
being sent off. So it was presumably in a certain amount of contact with the
some
ship,
parts of the
with
ship,
some part of the
or
ship,
someone somewhere in the ship.
Yeah, someone somewhere was giving it instructions. Interesting. But
it's not operating off its own. Yeah, you can see that somewhere, kind of on the back of the head, there's a bit that looks like it could be almost like a Wi-Fi receiver.
Does it have a camera?
It does.
And
some other bits of scanning equipment that have actually been put roughly where eyes would be, if it still had eyes.
You said
it's only got about this much of a face left.
When you first saw it, what did it exactly do physically? Did it, when you first ran into it?
It looked at us.
It looked at you.
Yeah, it seemed to be scanning.
All right, but when you, what did it physically do? It turned its head to you?
It turned to look at us and moved its head as if looking up and down.
Right. Okay, it does have cameras and as well as sensory equipment, so it's a very high chance. And also, this thing is connected up to the ship systems, or was connected up to the ship systems. So yeah, I don't know whether or not we're still talking about it communicating with a central security setup or with a person. But yeah. This thing was originally built. Was it always hodgepodge, actually, GM? Sorry, or was it like initially seemed like it was built with a certain amount of design spec and then got more hodgepodge as time went by?
It definitely got more hodgepodge as time
Yeah.
went on, but it started off a little hodgepodge to begin
Okay,
with. They
alright.
certainly, looking at the bits that have the most wear on them and look like they're the oldest
Mhm.
parts, the older parts have a more consistent look to them. There's a bit more coherency in how they're built, rather than looking like it was built out of a grab bag of scrap.
So there's possibility that this was a manufactured design originally, or is that not really the case?
No, not
Okay.
really. It is more like, you know, it had whoever built
Mm-hmm.
the implants had more material to work with,
Gotcha.
sort of thing, or
Makes sense.
yeah.
I don't think that this is a. I'm not convinced this is part of an initial design of the ship systems that they used cyborgs. I think that this is possibly something which someone developed out of necessity.
Making use of the remains of the crew.
Yeah, and the equipment on board. So decent work. And it looks as if it's been following at least a similar design pattern. I'm not sure I would say it's been the exact same engineer, but definitely the same school of thought
Perhaps
has gone
modifying
into
designs
maintenance.
for similar technology throughout the ship.
It's definitely the person who's been maintaining this over. Can I have an estimation of how old? How old are the oldest bits?
The oldest bits, probably looking at about somewhere between 50 and 100 years.
Yeah, that's fair. So, the oldest bits are about
Probably
50
closer to 50, but
50 plus years
50 plus.
old, since this was started. Audio.
Ideally, then, more information will be elucidated once we reach the bridge.
Yeah.
She will glance from Reyes to Casey and just say, if you are both done.
Yes.
Done, Commander.
And she moves out.
Pops of existence.
Yep, she just pops out of it. She pops back to the ship. Just leaves you.
Fuck you.
No more white characters.
Oh.
Cath had too many characters anyway.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Cath was willing to sacrifice one of her many characters in order to sacrifice all of Michael's characters.
Just because Mike had now made the interface with all three, I'm immediately killing Reyes.
Yep.
Brilliant. Cool.
Yep. The robots comes to life and kills her. So yeah, you can carry on further up the corridor. There are a couple more of these living quarters areas that, again, they don't have that same kind of locked off feel to them.
With the I think Reyes will ask. Do you want us to look in rooms on the way? Yes. Let's have a nosy. Let's just at least have a quick.
I'll have a quick look to ascertain any clues about the people who built this ship.
Hi, Commander.
Yep. Make me investigate checks.
Good at that. Let's have a shufty.
Go find shit. Six. Nice. Anybody else making investigation rolls?
Talandra has a look in, but then clearly just glances and then steps back out into the corridor to help us all.
Yeah, I
Okey-dokey.
don't know. I don't know what we can add to a 6.
I don't know. Casey might roll better.
Okay,
Is your
so
science
you roll
boy gonna
better.
look?
You're gonna be
Yeah,
beaten by Reyes?
I did not. I got a 2.
She will beaten by Reyes.
Okay, you were beaten by Reyes. So yeah, you can. Casey can have a look in the rooms and doesn't really get anything more than what he found before. That these are old. They've not been used much, but have been used a bit. some point in the distant past. Reyes, I will give you something since you got a 6. That feels worthy of giving you a thing. You're having a good look around the living quarters. These have been very well emptied, from when they were previously used. Like anything that was in the little cubby holes that there are for personal effects has been well packed away, and there's not much of a trace of anything left. But in one of the rooms, you do find a picture.
Yeah.
Looks like it might be maybe a family picture, or maybe they're friends. It's hard to tell. Looks like everybody in the picture's an adult anyway. And you see 3 people with kind of a mid-toned green skin. They've got kind of dark grey hair. 2 of them are wearing it in the same kind of style of a kind of a chin length cut. One of them's wearing it a bit longer and tied back in a ponytail. And they appear to be sitting on a beach. You can see that there's behind them in one direction sea, and over the other shoulder you can see that there is what looks like a spaceport with a half-constructed ship behind it that looks rather like the back end of the ship that you're in right now.
One more question.
Yeah.
Does it? I am assuming that they look like they are the same species as the remains of our friend out there.
A healthier color shade of green than pallid and slightly decaying.
Yes.
But yeah, you'd say from the bits that you've seen.
Yeah.
And I do mean bits.
I don't know if
like,
Reyes could identify if it's the same person. Also, she doesn't want to know. So, like,
there's not enough to tell really whether it's exactly the same person, but it's certainly this is what this species looks like when they're alive.
Yeah.
And healthy.
It's good to know that they do in fact start green, and this isn't as grim as was initially thought. Like, it's still pretty grim, but I thought we were dealing with
it's gross, but it's not. The green shade is not because of rotting zombie flesh.
Thank.
Yeah, Reyes.
That's just the palette.
Reyes will come out the door, hold the picture. So this is what these people looked like before they got everything bolted onto them and rotted a bit.
Talandra will look at the picture. Her expression does not change, but she looks for a good few seconds, and then she will stow or scan or bag or tag or whatever it is that Starfleet do with
Bag and tag it. Bag it and tag it.
She dehydrates it and puts the cube in a little pocket.
Cool. Standard.
As you come out of the room with this bit of evidence bagged and tagged, we will end the session there.
Nice.
Meh.
Nice.
How curious.
I do not like zombie ship. No.
I like it. Meh.
Yeah.
Nice one, Roomba.
Thank you very much, Roomba.
Thank you, Roomba. This is good. This is awful. This is
Awful.
All the reactions I want.
Yeah.
I aim to provide you with interesting yet awful and slightly gross mysteries to explore.
I think I really do speak for all of us when I say gross.
Gross. Yeah.
Super gross.
Good news is I don't
Super
have to
gross.
write down that many notes, so it's fine.
The notes.
Told you wouldn't
Agreed.
need them.
Go.
I killed a man.
Gross.
You know,
Let's
so
just
they say
need-
150 to 200 years and then a couple of years under it, which is not particularly helpful, but
Cath.
I'll know what it means if I need
Cath.
to.
Kath, I need you to go to your notes immediately and write the word gross. Otherwise, your notes will be incomplete.
It's
It is
true.
gross.
Like the grossness is a key part of this session, Cath. Can't believe you didn't write that down.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Gross.
Cash.
150, 200 years. Couple of years. Gross.
Gross.
The three measurements
three
of time.
key-
I will
The
not,
3 genders.
not get it mixed up with the dead.
Well, I
ones,
know
though.
which end is mine.
Tag yourself. I'm a couple of years.
Yes.
Gross.
I mean, also, like, Reyes has no prior trauma to being in any kind of ghost-like ship or facility with abandoned emptiness and creepy things going on. So I'm having a... It's not great, but I've also not been attacked by a robot zombie,
And also,
personally.
Not been attacked by a
Reyes is
robot zombie.
here with the protection of security and with Talandra, so she can just kind of bustle about and has that kind of, that's all right, there's other people to take damage
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, other people take damage, other people make decisions. I think this place is still gross but interesting.
Cool. That's
Speaking of
that's
gross
exactly
but
the tone I
interesting.
wanted this lovely, lovely ship to provide.
So, what do you think? I think you should fucking just keep dealing with it.
I thought, can we come home yet? It's gross. No.
I asked you if you wanted to, and you said it was my
No.
decision. Are you going to try to kill
No.
that moth?
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, fuck moths, I hate them.
Just
He's
don't
doing
fall
it.
off.
Yeah, you
Knock
go,
things
kid,
over.
kiddo. Right. Is that us?
So yes, that was session 1
Thank you.
of
Thank you.
The
Robot
Lonely
Chair.
Sea and Sky.
Not the sky and lonely sea, or
The Lonely Sky and Sea.
Yeah,
I am so tired.
you are.
You sleepy boy.
I have made many mistakes on the run up.
So
Oh,
considering,
buddy.
considering also I am wordlessly tired, I'm gonna do a rapid wrap up of the things that must be wrapped. But thank you,
Around.
thank you so much, Roomba, for running the session. I believe next week will be session 2 of this adventure. Same
Yeah.
time, same
Sa-
place,
Same bat time, same bat place.
same faces. Aside from that, if you have thoughts about how this has gone down, then please share them with us over on Twitter at @ityoucrew, or on Discord, where Discords are to be found. The link floats around the place, and if you find it, you are worthy and have the true heart of a hero. Other than that, we would like to share our sincere and heartfelt and deeply, deeply emotional thanks to these lovely backers on patreon.com/@ityoucrew. You are swell and trash. You are swell trash, and if you are a member of the Patreon, you are encouraged to message me and say, "What's your gender? Is it 150 to 200 years? Is it couple of years, or is it gross? Are you ageless and eternal? Are you baby? Are you goblin?" Those are the 3. Let me know. Aside from that, trash bags in the chat, if you will, for a moment. Charity Wars Gaming, Dinkledore, The Armchair Egyptologist, Ken Poyner, Kiwi Tokoeka, Photosynthetic, Eligos Alexander, Liz Murphy, Michael Kreese, Andrei Cherepnin, Joe, Lou Sutcliffe, Araloki, Socky, Henry Prestige, Caffeine Kitty, Hobbs 138, Lost Mike C. Sky Kilburn, Sky Lost, James Malloy, Mike Fielding, Michael Bowman, and of course everybody's favourite member of the Trash Crew, the one, the only, the inimitable Helena Handbasket. And with that, lovely squadlings, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye.